Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another lesson. Today, we're going to talk about the present perfect tense and how to use it correctly in all the situations you might need it. So, at the end of today's lesson, you will be able to talk about your past experiences, situations that happened very recently, your past accomplishments, education, and past experiences, and things that have been true up to now. So, what is the present perfect? The present perfect is used to talk about actions or events that have taken place at an unspecified time before now, or that started in the past and continue in the present. The structure is the subject plus have or has, depending on the subject, and then what we call the past participle. A past participle is a special form of some verbs that we use in the perfect tenses and some other situations. You don't need to know all the past participles yet, but I will give you a link in this lesson to all the past participles that you need to know. So when we look at the conjugations for the present perfect, they're actually quite simple. For he, she, or it, we will always use has. And then for I, you, we, and they, we will always use have. So again, he, she, it has been, and I, you, we, they have been. Now, been is the most common past participle. It's the past participle form of the verb to be, right? But it's not the only one, right? So we also have like seen or thought, many other past participles. But the point that I want to make right now is that if we have seen or thought or one of those other past participles, we don't need been. So you wouldn't say I have been thought or I have been seen, right? We would just say I have seen or I have thought. So I use been as the example for the past participle here because it's the most common, right? The participle form of to be. But it's not the only one, and you would change this out for whichever one you have, as you will see in the coming examples. So when are we going to use the present perfect? First, to talk about an action that started in the past and continues into the present. Next, to describe a recent past action with a result in the present. To talk about an action that happened at an unspecified time in the past before now. To describe a change or development over time. To talk about repeated actions in the past with a result in the present. To express an action that is still relevant in the present, so an action from the past, but it's relevant in the present. Or to talk about an individual's past experiences, okay? And we'll talk about all these in the slides to come. All right, so what do you need to know about the present perfect? The key for the present perfect is now, okay? That's where that word present, right? Present means now. The present in present perfect means something is relevant or important now, okay? So something happened in the past, but it's important now, at this time, all right? So a few keywords that you might see are up to now or as of now, right? If you don't see these words, they're usually even implied in the sentence, this meaning up to now. Even though they don't say it, they mean as of now. All right, let's go over an action that started in the past and continues into the present. We have been trying to have children for the past few years. Okay, this is showing that they started trying at some point in the past, and they have been trying up to now. So they started in the past, but they have continued trying up to now. My plants have grown by 10 centimeters in the past 3 months. So from 3 months ago up until now, the plants have grown by 10 centimeters. They started growing in the past, but they have continued growing until now. My company has implemented some new training programs for employees. In this one, we're not really specific about when they started, but you know just from the present perfect that it started sometime in the past and it has continued up to now. My best friend has been helping me through a tough time. Using the present perfect here lets us know that it's not just right now that they're helping us, but it's been going on for a while, right? So started in the past before now and has continued for a while up to now. All right, so a recent past action with a result in the present. I have already eaten lunch today. So at some point before now, I already ate, right? So I'm probably not hungry now. It's relevant now because I'm not hungry now. I have eaten before now, so I'm not hungry now. She has just been to the doctor. This lets us know that she just recently went there, okay? Since has been means it's relevant now, we know that it was recent and it's important now. So maybe she's going to tell some news, something that she just recently heard by going to the doctor. And so she says, oh, she has just been to the doctor and now she's going to tell us something, about it. So it's relevant or important now. The construction company has finished our new house. So they've been working on it and they just now finished it, right? But if we said the construction company finished our house, the person we're talking to wouldn't know when it happened. If we say finished, that could be any point in the past. So we say has finished so they know it is recent or that it just recently happened. Okay? All right, an action that happened at an unspecified time before now. The bank has frozen my credit card. If you've ever had your credit card hacked without you knowing it, it can happen that you go to use your card as normal, but it just doesn't work, right? And you have no idea why. You have to look in the app or contact your bank. Hopefully, if your credit card does get hacked, then the bank catches it and then they freeze it so that the person can't make any more charges with the card. But in this case, if they've frozen it without you knowing, then you don't know exactly when they froze it. So they froze it at 11:15 a.m., that would be past specific, right? Past simple, because it's a specific time that we know. But we don't know when they froze it, okay? So we say they have frozen my card because it happened sometime before now in the past, right? But it was an unspecified time, right? We don't know when it happened. John's not here. It seems he has been fired. Okay, so in this situation, you're not sure when John was fired, right? But it was sometime in the past before now. Since you're just discovering it now, it's relevant now, and you use the present perfect to talk about it now. A change or development over time. I think I deserve a raise because I have learned many new skills since I signed my last contract. So since I signed my last contract, that's a past simple time when I signed my last contract, right? So we're saying from that time to now, there has been a change over that time. The change is I have learned many new skills, okay? So we're talking about that change from then until now, and it's relevant now because now I think I deserve a raise. So we say have learned because that change happened over time. All right. He has become much more relaxed over the past year. Okay, so apparently this person discovered yoga or meditation or something like that. And now over the past year, they have become more relaxed. So again, we're discussing a change over time. They have become more relaxed. He has become more relaxed over the past year, because over the past year includes now, okay? It continued from the past up to now. So at whatever point he started yoga or Zen Buddhism or whatever it was, from that point till now, he has become more relaxed. I think my dog has gotten old. He doesn't want to play much anymore. So your dog didn't just get old at one specific point in the past. There's no magic moment where, oh, the dog is old, right? It happens over time. So you say, I think my dog has gotten old to say you think it has happened gradually over time. It's relevant now because now he doesn't want to play much anymore. Now is when we're noticing his aging, right? But the aging has happened over time. All right, so repeated actions in the past with a result in the present. I have been to the immigration office so many times in the past month. So we're probably expressing that we're tired now because of going to immigration so many times. That's why it's relevant now, okay? Remember, in the present perfect, it's all got to be relevant now. It has something to do with as of now. Since we're talking about repeating actions over a time in the past up to now, we're using the present perfect. I have been running much more this year and I'm feeling so healthy. Here we're saying that we have repeated the action of running many times, right? We have repeated this action many times this year, and this year is still going on, meaning that the timeline is up to now. So because of that, we have to use the present perfect. My dad has been watching the kids a lot lately, so I'm sure he won't mind if we ask him. We're not sure when lately started, but because it's in the present perfect, we know at some point in the recent past, dad has watched the kids and he has done it more times from that first time until now, right? So it has been repeated over time in the recent past up until now. So since he's done it many times, he probably won't mind doing it again. Although it could be the opposite and he could be sick of the kids now and he could say no, but we don't know. All right, so for someone's experience or history, it's almost like we're saying that we have the experience of doing something, almost like you have that quality as a person. So for instance, if I ask, have you ever lived abroad? That question is about more than just if you've done that thing once. It's more about if you have that perspective, if you have all of the qualities that come with living abroad. So in this first example, I have lived in many countries in Europe. This lets you know that the person is well traveled, okay? So yes, you can use it to talk about your, literal experiences of things that you have done in your life, but sometimes we kind of just mean it as like, do you have that experience or do you have that quality as a person? Sarah has been to jail twice. Again, this is more about the experience rather than the specific actions themselves. If someone has been to jail, then it's an experience or a quality that most people don't have. And it might say more about that person if they have that quality or they have that experience. My parents have never seen the ocean. Seeing the ocean is an experience. So never in their lives up to now have they had that experience. So it's like a quality about them that they have never seen the ocean. All right, let's talk about for and since because you're going to use these all the time in the perfect tenses, and it's very important that you understand the differences and how to use them correctly. So we use for and since to talk about time periods of actions and events which started in the past and continued up to now or are still true now. With for, we use it to indicate the duration of time, okay? So the period of time that something has been happening or has been true. So some examples: for a few days, for half an hour, for 1 week, for the past 3 months, for 2 years. Okay, these are all durations of time, the period of time that something lasted or has lasted up to now. With since, we're indicating the starting point of an action or an event that a situation has continued from. So since that happened, this has been going on. Or since that happened, this is how it has been. So for example, since June, since I met you, since 1990, since last year, or since Friday. All right, let's look at just a few examples of for specifically. I have been a teacher for 5 years, okay? Duration of time, 5 years. I have been a teacher for 5 years. Duration of time up to now. My sister has been looking for a house for the last 6 months. Again, duration, the last 6 months up to now, so we use for. My children have been sick for several weeks, okay? They have been sick and they still are sick, that time up to now, and we use for because it's a duration of time, several weeks. So each one of these sentences has a time duration in it. So 5 years, the last 6 months, several weeks. Since those are time periods instead of specific points in time, we use for. And now for a few examples of since. So I have been working here since 2003. So 2003, specific point in the past. I have been working here since then. We have lived in Italy since 2013. Again, same thing, specific point in the past, 2013. So since that specific time in the past. I've been wanting to get a new iPhone since I broke my last one. So again, specific time is since I broke my last one, whenever that was, it was a specific time because it happened and then it was finished, right? So it is a specific time in the past, and I have been wanting one since then. So in all these examples, since is pointing out a specific point in the past. So 2003, 2013, when I broke my last iPhone, all of these specific past simple moments in the past. But the present perfect period of time started from those points up to now. All right, let's finish up with a little practice, shall we? I'll go ahead and read all the questions, and then you can pause the video and go through and answer them one by one. So, number 1, I blank in 3 different countries. Number 2, I'm nervous about moving to Canada because I blank, never blank outside of the US. Number 3, we blank long hours recently because it's peak season. Number 4, the price of our house blank significantly since we bought it. And the last one, my wife blank at the airport just now. Okay, go ahead and pause the video and answer all of these questions on your own. Then come back and unpause the video and I'll give you the answers. So pause it now. All right, I hope you've got them all completed and answered. Let's see how you did. So number 1, I have lived in 3 different countries, okay? I have lived up to now in 3 different countries. Number 2, I'm nervous about moving to Canada because I have never lived outside of the US. So in my whole life up to now, I have never lived outside of the US. Number 3, we have been working long hours recently because it's peak season, right? So recently, some recent point up to now, we have been working long hours because of the peak season. The price of our house has risen significantly since we bought it. So since we bought it, specific point in the past, up to now, the price of our house has risen significantly. And number 5, my wife has arrived at the airport just now. Okay, just now shows us that it's important as of now, right? So she has just arrived at the airport. Okay, that's the end. I hope this all makes pretty good sense so far. This is one of the more difficult grammar lessons as far as the tenses go. So don't feel bad if you get a little bit confused or if you feel a bit lost. Sometimes it's perfectly normal. Most students feel that way at certain points of the lesson. Go back and rewatch the video if you need to. Have a look at some of the examples so you can get more familiar with all of the ways that you can use this tense. When you feel like you've got a pretty good grasp of everything, head over to the guided practice, go ahead and start putting this stuff to work, start giving your brain some practice reps so that you can actually process this information and really start to feel like you're getting a grasp on the present perfect tense. Good luck with the homework and see you in the next lesson.